Hi, I'm Mr. Wahlberg, and I'm glad you're here. Today we're going to talk about the next stage in our first unit of rhetorical criticism. We're going to be on part 4, which is analyzing role and tone of the rhetoric. These are some of the intangibles that will make or break the success of rhetoric. We have 2 objectives today. By the end of class today, you should be able to explain what is meant by a rhetor's role, and you should be able to discuss the purpose of and method of establishing tone in a piece of rhetoric. Let's begin in Roman numeral number 6. First, you'll need to analyze what is the rhetor's role. What role are they playing here? And this is kind of a subjective thing. You're trying to find out, what character do they see themselves as? For the purpose of this class, there's not going to be any list of roles that a rhetor might play. You're just going to have to kind of feel it out and feel how does the rhetor see themselves in this setting. You're welcome to decide on the role as you see fit. For instance, the United States president might take a lot of different roles at various times depending on the rhetor that he or she is trying to put out. She be at one point commander-in-chief and leader of the armed forces. They might also play the role of America's grandpa or policy leader. There's an implied relationship between the rhetor and the audience as well, and we'll identify 3 of those. The first one is a peer-to-peer relationship, where the rhetor suggests that he or she is equal to the audience. This is often used when the message is best shared among friends. And I think about this in my own practice as a teacher. There's times where I sit down at the level of my students and see them on an eye-to-eye level because I need to be able to be seen as an equal in the classroom or in the eyes of God or whatever the setting might be. One of the other types might be a superior to inferior. And here you might think of a leader addressing their people or a general addressing their troops. It's something where the rhetor suggests they have some power or authority or prestige or benefit that's greater than what the audience has. This is often used when the audience needs guidance or, advice on a topic. You would do a superior to an inferior. There's also an inferior to superior, where a person is trying to speak truth to power. The rhetor suggests that he or she is actually below the audience in some way. This is usually when the rhetor is demanding something from their audience. Now, of these roles, there's certain rules that a person needs to take when they play their role here. A peer-to-peer relationship can't give orders to the audience because they're equals. They could maybe give advice or what I would do in your role, but a peer-to-peer can't give advice. Inferior to superior, rhetors can't offer advice or give orders because they're making requests or making demands. A rhetor might use different roles at different parts in a long piece. It's possible that a rhetor might switch roles at various places, but it should always be clear to the audience and not confusing between those 2. Roman numeral number 7. Here, let's talk about the purpose and method of establishing tone, because tone is going to describe the way the rhetoric feels to the audience. Now, again, like role, there's not a list that you're going to pick from. You're not going to say yes, I choose that it is this particular tone off of this checklist. You can decide on whatever the tone as you see fit, as it feels to you or might feel to the audience. Tone might be something like a sarcastic tone or a wise tone or romantic tone. Insulting, something like that. That might be the tone that the rhetor picks for. And you run the risk of rhetorical failure here if a rhetor is using a tone that's inappropriate for the audience. So solemn speeches don't work for happy occasions, and lighthearted joking doesn't work for something that's a real serious topic. The tone should maximize the rhetor's advantages and minimize their barriers. It should speak to the rhetor and to the audience. And remember, good rhetoric is always audience-driven, but it should speak to them in a way that's appropriate there. And subpoint C. Now, I need to maybe add clarification to this. We're talking about the tone of the rhetoric versus vocal tone. The tone of the rhetoric is about the way it feels to the audience. It's not vocal tone, la 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 la. Vocal tone is about modulating the voice to create interest. We will discuss that at a later time, but when we talk about what's the tone of the rhetoric, we're talking about how it feels to the audience. It's a subjective piece that tries to explain how it will be interpreted by the people that receive the rhetoric. That completes our notes. If you got any questions, you're welcome to roll back on this, and look forward to seeing you in class. God bless you.